Good morning, and what a glorious morning it is if you are a Manchester United fan living in Manchester today. And more importantly, it's not just about the result from that game yesterday in the Manchester derby. It's about the message that was set by our manager, Ruben Amorim. And here's what the guy had to say after the game, just to double down on what happened before the game yesterday. And this is absolutely brilliant, to the point, shutting everyone down. No questions asked after the original questions. You know what I mean? Listen in right now.
Was not a disciplinary thing. Next week, next game, new life. They are fighting for the places, but for me it's important the performance in training, the performance in game, the way you dress, the way you eat, the way you engage with the teammates, the way you push your teammates. Everything is important. When people in our club are losing their jobs, we have to put the standards really high. And today the team proved that we can leave anyone outside the squad. You can manage to win if you play together. It was not that. It was just I want to improve my players. And sometimes you see and you understand that for so long we try, for example with Rush, we try a thing with Rush, it doesn't work. Let's continue to do the same thing or try something different. So it's simple as that.
United head coach Ruben Amorim pretty much laying it out on the line for both Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. He made it clear before the start of the game, again when asked questions afterwards, made it even clearer. It wasn't disciplinary, it was down to their attitude, it's down to their training, their performance, what he looks at. How I look at the game is different. If you could understand how I look at the game, he was telling a journalist yesterday, and that was a journalist from the Daily Mirror and the Sun who were asking them particular questions yesterday. This is how I see it. It's about everything. The clothes you wear, how you dress, how you interact with players on the pitch, how you interact with your teammates at training, how you listen, how you take everything in. Manchester United had the likes of Johnny Evans, Garnacho, Rashford, first team regulars at Manchester United, not even in the matchday squad yesterday, because Amorim seen something else in other players in training. This is how big this was, and never mind the result and everything that happened on the pitch, which was glorious, we will touch on of course, and everything he said about that afterwards as well. But the most important thing to take from what happened yesterday was the statement that was made by head coach Ruben Amorim. This is Forever United TV. We are live. It is Monday morning. Like I said, it's a glorious one, isn't it? Especially if you are the red side of Manchester. And Ruben Amorim himself did say that Manchester is red. It will always be red. Thank you, Ruben. It is glorious. He also talked about Fergie time. He knows this club. He knows this club. An interesting comment that he made on Amad Diallo after the game as well, which we'll get into as well. But first of all, on what he said regarding Garnacho and Marcus Rashford. And just so it's very clear, these players weren't disciplined. There was nothing that they did that was wrong. And they have just been left out of the squad. A communication was had. They trained yesterday morning. They were told that they weren't going to be playing earlier on in the weekend in this game, and they have just had to take it. Rashford has posted pictures on social media, bigging up the team, obviously right behind him. No issue with that. Both players back in training today. And like Ruben Amorim said there, it's now a fresh start. How do the likes of Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho now react to this? This is what we want to see now. This is the important thing to take from this. This isn't having a dig at Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. Look, we know that the club are open to offers for nearly every single player in this club. But what did we say from that point? What did I say in videos this week from that point when that news was coming out? The main thing to take away from this was, look what Ineos are doing. Look how they're acting. Look at what Ruben Amorim is putting into play now at Manchester United. This is the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson left that anything as significant as this regarding player power or what happened in a squad selection, certain players being left out, big incidents within the club that was deliberate because of a game and how a certain player had been reacting or coping with training, however you want to call it. This is the most significant one in over a decade. And this is how big today is. This is how big yesterday was. This is moving forward right now. And earlier on the week when we were talking about the transfers, Manchester United open to selling certain players, Manchester United looking at moving everybody on in the squad, barring a handful of players which we talked about, we wanted to see a reaction from these players. He doubled down on this by not putting them in the squad. And not putting them in the squad, but still including them then in the press conference and saying that there's no discipline. They were just left out because we wanted more. And other players were giving more. He's making everybody in this squad feel like they have got a chance. When you drop the biggest names in Manchester United's squad right now, when you drop that, and we're not talking about the best players because they're not. We know they're not. There are better players at Manchester United right now than Rashford and Garnacho. But when you're dropping the names, and this is the thing, it's like Manchester United used to be this circus. It used to be this entertainment. More interesting thing happened off the pitch. Go and get the shirt signed. Go and get pictures with the players. All of the glitz and the glamour side of things. And then as soon as they walked out on the pitch, everything was forgotten. And everybody starts bitching and moaning about who's not playing and who is playing. And what Manchester United fans have forgotten is what it was to actually win a game. What it was to have a man who was in control of what happens on the pitch. And we've got this now. And this is the reaction that there was yesterday. From the fans, it was like, wow, significant. I was doing a watch-along and one of the members, Cliff, came on. He didn't know the team. He didn't know what had happened. He went into the game and he thought that City were going to win it. He thought that City were going to win. He didn't know what had happened. Team selection had just switched on. He called into me. We were having a chat and I told him what had happened before the game and he went, oh, actually, now I feel a lot more confident now. That's what this does. This is what happens. It instills confidence. If it's instilling confidence within the fan base, can you imagine what that's doing to the likes of Anthony, Maguire, the fringe players at this football club, the ones, you could even say Ahmad, because he was a fringe player, because Ten Hag just didn't acknowledge him, it would seem. He didn't even pick him, for God's sake. So this is what it does. It installs that discipline. And I tell you what, right now, with what happened in the week, alongside what happened yesterday, everything altogether, if Rashford and Garnacho don't take this as the biggest slap across the face, and not so much Garnacho, because he has done more than Rashford, I'll give him that, but still, he's not done something that Amorim likes, and he's out of the squad. And this is, like he said, there's no discipline at all in this. This is just pure effort. This is just what Manchester United players are doing in training, and how Amorim is seeing it. When he's talking in detail about how you dress, how you approach, how you walk into Carrington, and all of these minor detail things, then there is a lot of room for a lot of players in this Man United squad to get a chance. And I think that is the most important thing. If they don't take this on board now, Rashford and Garnacho, and come out absolutely firing against Spurs, because I think they will be in the matchday squad for Spurs on Thursday. I really do. And to be honest, like if you've got two forwards there, after what happened to Mount, Ahmad playing overtime basically right now, he's having game after game after game, and it's not often that we see one of the forwards get the amount of game time that Ahmad has. Like the 10 staying in that position and not being subbed off for 2 games straight, that's unheard of. But that shows you how much trust Amorim's got in Ahmad. So with a game coming up against Spurs, if we get the right reaction out of this, and just think about what Amorim did, you got 2 players that weren't even there, that were fully rested, that haven't really played that much anyway before that, because they both came, one came off the bench for a cameo against Pilsen and Garnacho, and Rashford didn't make the starting. Rashford got about 55 minutes, a shocking performance. So this is that full-on, like, this is your last chance moment right now. They can come back into training and give absolutely everything and be 100% fresh. And then all of a sudden, Amorim's going into a game that he's on top at a stupid kickoff time on a Thursday again, fixture pile up, with 2 fully fit, fresh players with that added incentive as to like, this is my last chance. This is now what I have to do. I totally understand what I have to do. And if I don't, I'm going to be doing this every single week, which is sitting out, looking at the TV, watching my teammates play and get this glorious and have these glorious moments. Like that will be the hardest hitting moment ever for Garnacho and Rashford. Sat out of a Manchester derby while your teammates are celebrating in front of the United fans, having that moment at the Etihad. And it was a moment, wasn't it? We all rejoiced. We all loved it. You've seen my reaction. But like the whole fan base was just up. Like everybody for Manchester United, former players, coaches, everything like that was all loving what happened yesterday. And you've got your 2 biggest players, or 2 of your biggest players, sat at home watching that. If that does not sink in, if that doesn't work, then, oh my God, that is just another chance and an opportunity for the likes of Marcus Rashford, that if he throws away now, then there's no hope for him. Absolutely no hope for him. And he just needs to be moved on at any cost. And let's see now what happens with him. Let's see how he reacts to this. Let's see what Garnacho does. Because right there yesterday, and I said it with Jay after the game yesterday, Manchester United had 11 players. We weren't carrying anyone. And that's how Ruben's system works. It only works if everybody's doing a job. I've got a special video coming up later how Manchester United operated in that game and how the tactics were absolutely brilliant. But it came down to 11 players, fully disciplined. Even Danny Murphy on Match of the Day 2 last night. Yeah, I watched Match of the Day 2, first time in a while. But like many of us. But even he was saying just like City were poor, but United made them poor. They were no way through. And Manchester United's tactics from Ruben Amorim, just playing on how City are not confident at the moment and just giving them no options, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And more on that to come later on. But I do want to get into the chat. Obviously, we didn't get through as many comments as I wanted to yesterday in the live chat with Jay. But thank you so much already for over 100 likes on the video. Just shy of 1,000 in the room already. Keep sharing the video. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. On the road to 70k. How close can we get before we get to the end of the year? That is our target. Thank you for all your comments yesterday as well. I'm going to get into the live chat now. We have a super chat, first of all, from Enjoy Writing. The back three works for Harry Erling in his pocket. Honestly, the Harry Maguire and Ruben Amorim touched on Harry Maguire yesterday and how he works in that back three. With the two supporting centre-backs, this is what Harry was at England. And this is why we were all baffled as a United fan base, why Ten Hag just wouldn't try using a back three. The stubbornness and the sheer sort of arrogance of the man to not even try and fit a system in that suited the plays that he had was staggering. It really was mind-blowing. But we have now got a coach who is willing to just throw the scrapbook out the window and change things up no matter what. To do what he's done in the short space of time he's been here has been nothing short of miraculous. You could say result-wise it's not been perfect, but I seen a piece from, I think it was Joe Hart on beIN Sports talking. I seen it on social media, and he was saying there, he said, it's amazing, there isn't enough hours in the day for Ruben Amorim to work what he wants to work. He's literally training these players. He says you're watching professional players on a pitch doing a job and looking across to the sideline and trying to get the thumbs up and asking the manager or the coach on the sideline, is that okay? He's actually coaching. And you've got pundits actually picking up on things that Ruben Amorim is doing in games that he should be doing on the training ground. He says it's mind-blowing. He says, but these players are being trained while playing Premier League football games. It's staggering. It is absolutely brilliant to see. It's nerve-wracking, and it's not going to be sustainable forever because obviously they have to get used to it sooner or later, and then we can start really performing. But in big games like that, to be in the situation we're in, for Ruben Amorim not to have the time that he needs, to be training these players on the go and still get a result at the Etihad and finally beating one of the top 6 sides, which we have got a shocking record with, is nothing short of miraculous. And for the players that he's got and the players he's using, honestly, who'd have thought that going into a Manchester derby at the start of this season, we're walking in with Ten Hag, who'd have thought that Manchester United would be playing a back three with Harry Maguire at the heart of it, with Ahmad, Mason Mount and Rasmus Højlund up front, and we've not even got Garnacho and Marcus Rashford in the squad. Just let that sink in for a minute. It was unthinkable, but that's how United fans have been programmed into thinking that it doesn't matter who comes through the door. It doesn't matter who's on that sideline. The players are always going to have the power. Well, if there was any proof that that has gone, it was there yesterday. That was the biggest bit of proof yesterday that this is now a changing of the times at Manchester United. That official page of turning over and a new era starting at the football club was at the Manchester derby yesterday. I'm not having anybody come back to me and even saying that it's never going to change at Manchester United. This is what will happen. Ineos have to find a way to back Ruben Amorim. If they can't even get rid of the likes of Marcus Rashford or even other players that they feel are underperforming, it still doesn't mean that they're going to be in this team. We've seen what Marcus Rashford can do. We've seen what he's done before. And Ruben Amorim, I feel, is the closest to getting anything out of Marcus Rashford now, just because of what he did yesterday in saying to him, you're not good enough. Change it. We know you're good enough. We know you've got it in you, but you need to change. It's as simple as that. And the whole debate, the whole argument around player contracts, clauses in contracts, certain playing time, it was just everything was closed yesterday. That book, that conspiracy theory, that unrest behind the scenes and the worry and concern in Manchester United's fan base and everybody else in football about what power these players have got over anybody who's in that dugout. That book was officially closed yesterday and threw into the fire. It was done. And that is why yesterday was so significant. Ruben Amorim, in them comments that you just listened to there after the game, pretty much double downing on that and saying, look, this is how it is going to work. It doesn't matter who you are. Remember when we were listening to his colleagues and people who he'd worked with before he was coming in, and we were all looking forward to it? We were sort of like sceptical still as to like, how can he do that? This is Man United. He's never going to be able to do that at United. But that one-on-one conversation he had, how the players understood him, the egos that would not last at Manchester United if they didn't want to work in an Amorim system. Bang, bang, bang. A month in, and we're here where we are now. It's fantastic. Honestly, I'm blown away by the progress that he's made already. Yes, results need to come better, and you can come back and say we're 13th in the league. Look, if you'd have said to me, Manchester United have just had their worst start ever in the Premier League, we've sacked our manager, we're not playing decent football, we've already lost 6 games, but we're 5 points behind Manchester City after 16 games, I'd have gone, oh, I think there's still something salvageable there. And yes, United can make the top 4. If Forest are in there now and we can't take Forest down, then I'm sorry, you don't belong at Manchester United. That's how the players should be thinking. Man United can make top 4. I think we are proving it under Ruben Amorim that this team has got something. And if they get a little bit more time with him, can you imagine United actually having a couple of training sessions in a week at Carrington with Ruben Amorim? How much more switched on they're going to be. Wow. And he said in his press conference before the derby that he's only had 40 minutes with him. The full squad, 40 minutes training, that's all he's had. Training on the go and winning games. Oh, it's brilliant to see. Absolutely amazed by what happened yesterday and our performance in all. Right, I do need to get these comments in. A clinical drop from the squad. No missing abouts. No open door for the media. He knows how to handle this club by conducting themselves a lot better off the field for a start. Exactly. They were desperate for him to say it was disciplinary, absolutely desperate. They're not going to get anything out of Ruben Amorim, the media. I feel like he has got them and has worked them well. That little tune-up that he had with Gary Cotterill from Sky, while he was still Sporting head coach, still manager there at the club, and he was getting them interviews and he was sort of just easing his way in. And I think since he's walked through the door, he's handled the media perfectly. He's dealing with things on the go. He's dealing with a lot. And we know Manchester United come with a lot of baggage. And that is within the playing squad mainly. And all of the people that need to have a say. I think, like I said, it was interesting to see the conversations. I know we can't be savvy to it, but Wilcox there talking and Brailsford and Sir Jim Radcliffe both listening in. Fully on, switched on, listening into what he was saying. And this is because, like I said before, Jason Wilcox, who is at every training session, who is at all of the games under 21-wise that Ruben Amorim is at, he understands what he wants. He understands what he's trying to do. And you can see him communicating with the Knights of the Round Table in the stands there at what he's trying to do with his team. And if anybody comes back and says you couldn't see a system or a structure or anything within that side yesterday, you have lost the plot. You really have. I'm not having any of it. Gehan in the chat says, I don't see an issue here. This happens at every single club in Europe. There is nothing special about Rashford and Garnacho. They are just 2 players in our squad. You earn your place. I think that was a big statement there. Rashford now knows he's just a squad player. You're part of a system. So too are you, Garnacho. There's no guarantees going forward. Brilliant. I bet Johnny Evans wasn't left out because of how he dresses and eats and interacts. No, I just don't think there was room for him on the bench, because that's what it was. Joe Blackman in there. I know we forget to do it sometimes, but please remember to hit the like button as soon as you walk in. Legend. Over 200 live likes. It's working. Joe, thank you very much, mate. Amir says, see and wait. Who is the player who came in signing under Amorim in January, transfer window and summer? Well, I think we can take from what's happening right now in terms of profile of player and what Amorim is going to want and what Ineos are going to have to bring in for him, is the player is another level up on what we've got right now. I think it's going to be a completely different outlook when it comes to transfer windows as well right now under Amorim. And that is really intriguing to see what happens from here on that one. Mr. Dacia Sandero is in. Good morning, Adam. How good was the performance and result yesterday? Amorim is the real deal, doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Standards, player power is now obliterated at last. So true. Bang on the money. Exactly what I said. Speaking of Maguire, he was immense yesterday. I hope he can build on it. Always respected him for his professionalism. Look, Amorim has found a way to fit Harry Maguire in perfectly. And now we really do have options. Look, Harry Maguire coming out and saying, and I still don't think he's going to get another contract. He may get his contract extension, which United could trigger if United can't do the work they need to in the transfer window. But what we're finding here is Ruben Amorim is making players better anyway. And this is where you can now fine-tune your transfer window. All of a sudden, United have got Mazraoui who can play at the back. Yoro's fit. De Ligt and Martinez are playing well. Harry Maguire's come back into the side as well. All of a sudden, you've got an abundance of defenders. If he does somehow manage to get Luke Shaw fit, and I'm not even holding on to that as any hope, but there's another centre-back there that you've got playing at left centre-back. You've got options there all of a sudden. And then you're like, right, okay, if we cannot sell the right amount of players, where can we save in making players better that are in the squad right now? Harry Maguire has a 1-year extension that can be triggered at the end of this season. If they decide to trigger it, they're accepting that they're not going to get any money for him, but ultimately they're not going to have to bring in another centre-back maybe in the summer, and they can save that money and put it into a midfielder or a centre-forward or a wing-back. You get where I'm going with it. But still, I think all of the transfer window changes completely if Manchester United make the Champions League, because then that money coming in changes everything. Look, it is crazy, and it is completely up in and totally reliant on where United finish in the league this season right now, and obviously the Europa League, which, when you have results like yesterday, give you confidence that we can actually do something, and I think that's important as well. United, if the offers come in, by the way, are still going to sell Rashford, Garnacho, any player that they feel is market value and more, they will sell. And Ruben saying what he said yesterday to back up the discipline and it not being discipline there, a discipline issue with Rashford and Garnacho, I think it still tells you that he's not happy with them players. I mean, anybody can look at that situation yesterday and say, look, he's not happy with Garnacho, he's not happy with Rashford. If a right offer came in and he had the opportunity to bring a player in that he knows for certain is going to do a job for him, they would be gone. This is what's happening at United. I'm so happy that it happened the way it did yesterday, especially before the game and the players that were left out. Like, nothing against them, but the way that he did it in conjunction with what happened this week, I feel he's just working in exactly the right way for Ineos right now if they're going to help Ruben Amorim. It's like, if you're not going to put the work rate in, you're out of the club no matter what position you're in. And one of the most important things there is that Ruben said in that press conference in the clip at the start was, look, when you've got people losing their jobs at this football club, we need to raise the standards. We need to make sure that them standards are a lot higher. We need to do more because other people are losing their jobs because of the underperforming star players at this football club. And do you know what? Ineos will be looking at that and going, Ruben Amorim has just left two of Manchester United's most well-known players, star players you could say, out of the squad. Now straight away, you're thinking as Ineos, you're like, okay, Man United just beat City without them. Can we get rid of them players? Like, you have to automatically be thinking that way. Look, Ruben will make them better, and Ruben will get more out of both of them before the end of the season. And then it's on Ineos to do what they've got to do. Because United are all right with Garnacho and Rashford coming in. We can challenge for top four. But a decision will need to be made at the end of the season whether or not them players or other players in this squad are good enough to take United to that next level. Because they want to win the title. Ruben Amorim has said he wants to win the Premier League. Is Rashford going to win you the Premier League? Is Garnacho going to win you the Premier League? Them players are going to have to significantly improve to a different level altogether if they are going to prove to both the coach and the hierarchy and structure that they are players that need to be kept at this football club. They're a million miles away from it at the moment, and hopefully that message is the one that's actually sinking in right now. A few more super chats to get through. Amorim is an excellent communicator, says enjoy writing. Yes, he is. Zane is in the chat. Hello, Zane. How are you doing? Saka will have Ahmad in his pocket in the FA Cup tie. Listen, mate, you concentrate on scoring from open play, Zane, and not blowing your opportunity. Like I said when we played Arsenal, you will not win the league. That's it. You're in a top 4 race with United right now. You missed my super chats. Come on, you gunners. Everybody beats City. No, I didn't. I got them there, mate Zane. Thank you very much. Love the banter, buddy. But yes, there's your banter right back at you. Welcome to the top 4 race, mates. What are you guys doing, honestly? Everybody beats City, but not everybody beats Everton at home. I mean, I can remember, I think United, even with Rashford in the side, beat Everton 4-0, was it, everyone? I think it was, wasn't it? What was the score? Everton at home to Arsenal? Oh, yeah, that was right. 0-0. Sorry, mate. There is no way to fix Mount, says Jacobs. We should have never bought him. We are now saddled with 2 injury-prone players. That was the only blip on Manchester United's day yesterday, wasn't it? I was absolutely gutted for Luke Shaw. Devastated, in fact. You see my reaction when we was doing the watch-along on Big Up. I was just like, oh, God. Do you know what? It just goes to show how big a win it was yesterday with Mason Mount going down so early. Everything that was going wrong for Manchester United. And it still worked out. He still managed to get everything where it needed to go in terms of the system and his structure. We had a player come on in Kobbie Mainoo who just took to it straight away. And that's what I'm talking about at the start. Like, no matter who comes on that pitch, whether it be Anthony, Xerxes, whether it be Kobbie Mainoo, Lindelof, who came on and did his bit yesterday right at the end, like, everybody knew what they were doing. And that was the difference. He's got the squad involved. If you perform, like Harry Maguire said, then you can stay in that side. Lenny Yoro now is going, okay, Manchester United's biggest signing of the summer, I'm not going to get right into this side. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about price tags anymore. It matters about how much work you're going to put in, are you going to listen, and are you going to fit what Ruben Amorim wants. Yesterday, he's going to switch so many players on. Like, this is the exciting bit that every United fan, I feel, should be looking at and getting really excited about going forward. I think this is such a pivotal moment for us. Ginger in the chats, are the lies the problem? Are there lies the problem? Sorry, Marcus Rashford being called a star player. He is not a star player. He never has been and never will be. He's an ordinary footballer who can only do a kick up and run. I mean, look, on that, it takes us right into this next segment, which was the other bit that Ruben Amorim was talking about yesterday. Star players. Are they star players? Well, they are. In terms of the club and how they've built them up, they are star players. But what the point was that I wanted to make from this, and it's why I put it in the title, and you can argue the point, and Gingy's right in the chat, they're not star players, but this club builds them up to be something. And Ruben Amorim's comments yesterday on Ahmad, and what he was saying about Ahmad, in how we have to now look after him and take care of him, because at our club, and he said our club, yes he did, it's not like he just walked through the door and at this club, it's our club, he understands it already. He said, we have built players up too much. We have overhyped players. He didn't say overhyped, but this was the sort of angle he was going at. And this is another big thing to take from yesterday. Ginger's just highlighted it there. Are they star players? Well, we know they're not, but the club have made them star players. They have built them up to these stars that walk into Old Trafford that everybody wants pictures with, like I said. And the football has been forgotten. Nobody's talking about Garnacho and Rashford yesterday. No one even mentioned their names when the football was on. Why? Because they're star players in a different way. It's all the glitz and the glamour in and around the football club and everything that's going on around the club that is the problem with these players. We need them to just be concentrating on football. And that's the difference. Ahmad is concentrating on football. Ahmad is definitely taking on board what Ruben Amorim is saying. And he has just made it clear, look, we need to look after him still. What United do need to do is get that contract sorted ASAP. Because this guy is absolutely just destroying everyone that stands in his way. Like, how important Ahmad is for Manchester United right now is key. And he will be a star player. He's not yet. He's one of our best players right now. But we need to be consistent. We need to see consistency with all of our players. And we need them to go to that next level to start calling him a star player. It's ridiculous. All we have moaned about as fans is this club bigging up these players. We are all talking up these players. They are average players. They're not average players. They're very good players that will get United top 4. Are they good enough for stardom? Are they the players that at other clubs, like star players, you could call Kevin De Bruyne? Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland, all of these players, Phil Foden, star players, yeah, they are. They've proved it over the last 4 years. They're winning titles. They're winning the Champions League. And by the way, United shut all of them down yesterday. And that's down to Ruben Amorim tactics. But when it comes to the star player tag, it is simple. You have to have won things to even get into the conversation. Not, this is a great, look, he scored. And I was listening to Gary Neville and Mick. Did you hear that ridiculous conversation going on yesterday between them? Do you know what? I was sat watching that. And Kaz pulled it up for me, and I was like, I can just see Roy Keane there. He's like, he can't even be asked jumping in on the conversation that Micah Richards was trying to hold against Gary Neville about Rashford and Garnacho and what happened. It's complete and utter garbage. I was going to swear then. It's Monday morning. I don't need to. We beat City. It was absolutely ridiculous. I could see Roy Keane there, and his mannerisms there was just like, I can't even be asked even getting into this. He looks like a man that has said too much already. Sorry, not too much. He's said a lot already, and no one's listening to him. Look, they were talking about Marcus Rashford. This is a player that scored 30 goals 2 effing years ago. Like, we're building him up to be this megastar. He's just not. He never has been. He's been a very, very good player with masses of potential, which he's pissed up the wall. That's it. Ruben Amorim, everybody says he's disciplined him or not. I think he has internally disciplined him, football-wise. Forget about what goes on off the pitch. That got nothing to do with yesterday. This is the wake-up call that players like him needed to be part of a squad. This has just dropped down Marcus Rashford's stock massively and put him right in line with everybody else in this team. He is no better than any other player in that squad in terms of what he's doing and how he's performing. He's no better than Victor Lindelof. He's no better than Mason Mount or any other player in that squad right now, Marcus Rashford. He is the same as everyone. And like Ruben said, today, Monday morning, everyone walks through Carrington's doors, into the changing rooms, goes out onto that training ground, clean slate, let's go again. Now show us that you're willing to work for this team and get into this squad and into this team that works as an 11, not as individuals like it has done on years gone by. This is where United are at right now, and that's the statement that was made yesterday. It's huge. What he said about Ahmad, what he said about Garnacho and Rashford, all in different ways. I'm sure that Rashford and Garnacho will have a purple patch going forward. I'm pretty certain of it. I think Garnacho will come back. I do. Rashford, well, it's up to him right now. He should be in the prime of his career. If he wants to get into that World Cup squad, honestly, the best thing that's happened to Marcus Rashford is Ruben Amorim walking through that door. 100%, this man will save his career. If you don't survive under this, then, like I said before, it's pointless you even playing football. It's pointless. And let Ineos have that decision to make at the end of the season. Let them try and figure out whether it's worth selling Rashford, Garnacho, all of these other players. Look, people were talking about Leach being one of these players that should be sold the other day and not performing. Outstanding yesterday. Wow. That player was awesome yesterday. And by the way, how good is Agate? Oh my word. Like, honestly, like, we're talking about everybody else. We could have picked out 5 or 6 players from that team yesterday and done a full segment on each one of them. Confidence. And you can see the confidence. I was going through the stats with Jay. We did a full show after the game yesterday. The passing accuracy on nearly every single Manchester United player was absolutely ridiculous. Like, for Leacher and Manuel Agate to both have 98% passing accuracy in that defensive job with City's press just goes to show how comfortable they were on the ball, how at ease they were with the system that was put in place, and that message from Ruben Amorim ringing in their ears, giving them the confidence to actually play their game. That was massive yesterday for everybody. Into more comments. Let's do a big segment on this now. Andrew Short says, it was a shame for Mount, but knew about his injury problems. It was a ridiculous decision to buy him. Yeah, unfortunately, this was in the old regime, and there's nothing that Ineos or Ruben Amorim can do about it. We love him. We like what he does. He has shown so many signs of potential under Amorim already in just these small cameo roles. But still, like, going forward, a decision needs to be made. He cannot play 90 minutes. If you can't play 90 minutes and there is an opportunity to sell him, then that decision needs to be made. Could Marcus be loaned out in January, Spain/Italy? I don't think United would loan. We don't loan first-team players under Ineos. I think that's been made very clear. I think only academy players are going to be loaned out. Garnacho's ceiling isn't as high as most believe. Guy-Man, we will see, won't we? It's up to him now. Like, look, the one thing we can take from this is, like, it doesn't matter about player ceilings. It doesn't matter about certain players that are in this squad right now, because eventually they will be moved on if they're not good enough to play in the system. Are you happy to be a bench player at Manchester United? Because that might actually be what Garnacho's role is at Manchester United. He's installing what was there before. Look, you didn't have Teddy Sheringham, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all complaining because they weren't getting the starting berth. They knew that they had to fight for their chance when they came in to the side and take their opportunities. This is what is coming back to United right now. You've got at City there. You just look at Man City there. At times he's got De Bruyne on the bench. He's got Grealish there on the bench. You've got quality players on the bench. They know. Fall in line. It's about a squad. It's not a first team in Manchester United anymore. And all of a sudden, we've got players, like I said earlier on, that could come into this side that we thought before everyone was going to be bitching and moaning about. It's like yesterday when Maguire was announced and it was official, that I don't think anybody had an issue with it. Because we've seen how he performed against Arsenal in the back three. And what Ruben Amorim said was right. Look, he works well in the back three. This is the best setup for Harry Maguire. All of a sudden, players are listening. All of a sudden, players right now are reacting. And that's something that just wasn't there. Simple things like that weren't there before are everything that are now being installed in this football team. And that's the beauty of it. That's what is good. And not building players up, I think, is the best thing I can take from what Ruben Amorim said after the game yesterday. I did. Look, I've been told, it's been well documented, it's been put out there all over social media that United will sell the likes of Garnacho. They will sell Marcus Rashford. If someone comes in January, they will still sell them. Ineos are not here to look at certain things going right for Ruben Amorim with certain players like Rashford and Garnacho. They're here to make big calls. They've already said this. If you're not willing to make big calls, then you're not going to succeed. It's as simple as that. And if there is a chance to sell Garnacho or Rashford at the right money, Ineos will take it. They will sell both of them. They will sell anyone in this club that Ruben Amorim feels is not quite there. Or if the right chance comes around to improve on a play that they've already got, even if that play is doing okay, he will be gone and someone else will be brought in. This is what we're going to be dealing with now going forward. And it seems miraculous. It seems crazy. It seems like something completely out of the extraordinary for us. But this is just normal big club football. And United have forgotten about that. And that fell away from United's philosophy and how Manchester United are and how we conduct ourselves as a football club over the last decade. It's left us and it's coming back slowly. It's going to take more time, yeah. Like this Manchester United are a million miles away. We all know it, and we're not getting carried away with it. We can enjoy beating City. It's a great day. But like I said, with not getting carried away with it, you can get encouraged by what happened yesterday. And I think that's what we have to take from it. Get encouraged by players being left out of the squad and United still winning. And that point proved by Ruben Amorim yesterday. Please give the video a like. We're almost at 400 live likes. Well over 1,600 in the room. Thank you. That is fantastic for a Monday morning. What a way to start the week, everybody. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well. Get your comments in. You can do that when you have subscribed and get into the live chat and get going. Over at Kick TV says, Anthony looks hungry as well. Yes, he does, mate. Played well in those short space with Ahmad. I want to see him come on again off the bench. Like I said, like, it's a player there that's now encouraged that he can actually do something. And all of a sudden, like, no one's talking about Anthony anymore. Everyone's talking about Anthony as a utility player, someone to come on and give us some legs. But he didn't really do anything wrong, did he, when he came on? He was effective in that game yesterday when he came on. Good interchange and understanding with Ahmad as well. And this is what Amorim's installing. Ellen says, Maguire was like a mountain... excuse me, sorry. Maguire was like a mountain back there. Felt safe to see him owning the centre-back role. Haaland looks like a cocker spaniel the whole match. It was great to see Haaland being put in his place, wasn't it? And especially by Harry Maguire. Looking at the next 4 games, if we play like yesterday, we can win all of them. Look, this is what I said, like, we get through City, we get through Arsenal. It's really annoying that we lost that game to Nottingham Forest. Otherwise, we'd have been right up there right now. That is so frustrating that we lost that just on individual errors. But you've got Spurs on Thursday, then we've got Bournemouth, then we've got Wolves, then we've got Newcastle. before we play Liverpool at the turn of the year. We can definitely beat Spurs. We know that. And if we win them 3 Premier League games, I expect United to win them. Bournemouth and Newcastle are both at home. You've got to win them. And we've got Wolves away. I mean, seriously. And that's Boxing Day. We're winning Wolves. We have to beat Wolves. If you win them 3 games, then United's season, all of a sudden you're like, hang on a minute. It's a completely different look. And then we go into the new year. Yes, we've got Liverpool. Yes, we've got Arsenal in the FA Cup. 2 tough games to start the year off. But after that, I said this yesterday, like all of them really tough games are out of the window. You've been to Anfield. You've been to the Emirates. You've been to the Etihad. You've got them done. Look, this is where we're at right now. And then we're looking at the fixtures then, and United really need to knuckle down. And we're getting into the top 8 of the Europa League, going into February. Less games to play. Massively important for United. Massive, and I feel is definitely why it was important to get them wins in the Europa League as well, because Amorim, like we said, with more time with these players, he's only going to make them better. Amorim with that February without 2 European extra games in a playoff is massive. All we've got to do is beat Rangers at home, which is in January as well. I think we will definitely do that. That's 15 points that United qualified for the knockout phases. We don't need to play in Europe then until March. Even the last game against Steaua Bucharest, then we can rest players because we're already qualified. We can play a string squad. We could maybe even integrate some of the under-21 players in that game. That's the beauty of where we're at. Like what Chelsea did at Astana in the week, travelling 8 hours to go and play a Europa League game. They changed the whole squad. They didn't even have to play anyone. So everyone who played yesterday that beat Brentford was completely fresh and they didn't play. This is the opportunity we've got right now. If we beat Rangers, we're through. Then we can have literally a full month and a half off of European football with more training time for Ruben Amorim to get into this squad and get into these players. It's massive. It's huge for him right now. And I feel like where we're at and going into that next spell into the new year, if we do get through these next few games, it's going to be absolutely huge. Loved Amorim's comments about the performance, regardless of the score. Definitely, Jeffrey. Andrew says he certainly does not want to play for us. Rashford will be leaving United, I have no doubt. Looks like subs are doing their part, so Amorim is putting his foot down. Definitely, Wayne, 100%. This is what's happening. I keep saying it, and I keep going on about it. It sounds like I'm sounding like a broken record, I know. But he has got everybody invested into this team, apart from Eriksen. It just doesn't work, does it? Like, it's clear that he will be sold in January. And if you can get money for him, and then quids in, good job from United. To actually make money on a player like Eriksen would be huge because we didn't obviously spend any money on him at all. Can we get to 500 live likes in a live show? That would be mega. We are only, 36 away? I'm sure we can do that. We're well over 1,700 in the room with us. Keep it coming, everybody. Loving this. Keep your comments coming in as well. I would take 5th, 6th or 7th and get Europa League for Champions League. And then next season we can get the players we need and players shipped out. And Amorim will bring us to where we need to be. It gives you, like the game yesterday gives, like Will Man United said there, it gives you the confidence that use this season now to fine-tune this squad. Find out who works in what position. Go as far as you can in the league. I still think we can get 4th. Go as far as you can in the league. But the prospects and the hope that that brings to the United fan base going into next season, whoa. And if we're back in the Champions League, well, we've seen what he did with Sporting. And since he's left Sporting, they've fallen off completely. This shows you how important this guy is and how big a job he's actually doing at United. But to have this team fine-tuned in to how he wants to play within a month is absolutely, it's miraculous. I keep saying that word, don't I? But that's what it feels like. It feels like a real turning of the page. A new era has finally begun at United. But everything that happened off the pitch is just, if not more significant than everything that happened on it yesterday in that derby. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. The manager is saying all the right things. It's down to how he's backed right now. 500 likes is just about to be hit. Thank you, everybody. Legends. United don't need ever fear playing the likes of City ever again. We beat them in the FA Cup and we beat them at the Etihad in front of their own fans. Look, City's time is done. Like, City's era is over. They will do a rebuild under Pep. Obviously, they will bring players in, but realistically, they haven't replaced them players. Their time is well and truly coming to an end. Like, the season is over for them for challenging for the title. It's done. And for that to be the case in December shows the fall off. De Bruyne isn't going to get it. How bad was De Bruyne yesterday, by the way? Did we not make him look like an average championship player yesterday? He was poor. Phil Foden, like, seriously, the fall off in them City players is a stark reminder that even at the biggest clubs, big players can fall away. And this is what will happen this season. Nobody would have had Manchester City being where they are. Look, if Bournemouth actually get a result tonight, I hope they don't get a result against West Ham tonight, because it means that we can catch them and another team in front of us has dropped points. But if they do, City will be 6 after 16 games, which is unthinkable. City right now are not even in Europa League places if Bournemouth get a win tonight against West Ham. Let that sink in. And for Chelsea to actually say that they're not in a title race, they're kidding themselves. Absolutely kidding themselves. You cannot be going into December, and the back end of December, and being anywhere in and amongst it around Christmas time and not say you're involved. If United win these next 3 games, in particular in the league, which is Bournemouth, Wolves and Newcastle, if we win them games, United are fighting for that top 4. I still think we are now, even if we don't get the right results in them games. But we should win them games. That's 9 points in. And then we're into 30, what would that be? 31 points going into the first half of the season. And look, 70 points gets you top 4. Pretty much nearly every single season, 70 points is the marker, isn't it? So if you look at United, we win our next 3 games. That's officially halfway through the Premier League season. And we're on 31 points. Even if we backs that up in the second half of the season, which hasn't been great, which is not good enough, obviously. Even if we had that average first half of the season, the second half of the season, that's 62 points. We only need 8 more to make that top 4. So we are there. We are in and amongst it, 100%. And United can have a better second half of the season under Amorim than we have the first. So that's the point. When you look at it in every single way, when you look at how United players are reacting, how United are performing right now, the results that they're getting, breaking that top 6 hoodoo that we've actually got, beating City away from home, performing the way we are, and you look at all of the other clubs taking points off each other, everyone who's above us, can we catch Brighton? Yes. Bournemouth, Brentford, Newcastle, Forest, can we take them teams? Yes, we can. That alone puts us into 6. And then we're looking at that top 4. And you've got the likes of Chelsea who don't think that they're going to be challenging for the title. You've got Arsenal who are tripping themselves up constantly, who can't score a goal on open play. Do not tell me that this season is not salvageable and getting top 4. It's there. And this team under Amorim, I know, can go on a run. We definitely can. We're not conceding chances. City had 3 shots yesterday, apparently on target. One of them was the goal. One of them wasn't even on target, which was Phil Foden's shot. I think it was going wide. And I think one of them was a speculative effort, which Anana picked up. He didn't have a save to make. What did Arsenal do in open play? Didn't create nothing. Set pieces. We can fix that and stop that rot. We can stop our individual errors like we let Nottingham Forest get the win with. These things are definitely changeable at United. And the players proved yesterday, even without so-called star players, that they can beat big teams and they understand what Ruben Amorim wants to do. It's there. I'm telling you right now, the season is well and truly on for Manchester United. Agate is a monster for someone who apparently can't pass. 98% passing accuracy. And that's exactly the point I'm trying to make. Like, players are getting better. Even now, players that were brought in by Amorim are getting better. Look, we could go on forever and a day. There's more content to come throughout the day. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody in the chats, everyone for this morning's show. Please do make sure that you give the video a like on the way out. We may even get close to 600 live likes if everyone gives the video a like on the way out. That would be epic. Thank you. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. We want to get as close to 70k before this year ends, so please do be part of the journey. 70k is our target. We're getting closer. We're edging and edging. So please be part of it. Support the channel. Thank you, everybody. Mods and members, all of the donations and super chats. New members, thank you so much. I will see you all later on. Have a fantastic day. And up the Reds. Manchester is red, everybody.